Hi, I'm Susan, and welcome to Tasty Cakes, where I make American baked goods one recipe at a time. I have a different recipe today to share with you from the City Tavern Baking and Desserts cookbook, Saffron Barley Pudding. Growing up, my mom used to make rice and even tapioca pudding a lot, so I'm a big fan. But I now have come to appreciate using different kinds of grains in these types of recipes. Barley is one of my favorites, so this recipe spoke to me. And of course, saffron is so iconic here from Spain, so I had to use it and try this recipe. So basically, we're going to pre-cook the barley on the stove top before it goes in the oven. So I've measured out the barley. It goes straight into the pan. I'm picking out a couple threads of saffron, so it's not too saffron heavy. This called for milk to bake, or excuse me, to cook the barley in. It seemed like a lot. And in the end, it really was too much, but I didn't go with my gut and just followed the recipe. That's some dried up vanilla paste that I'm putting in there. It didn't really matter because I know in the liquid it's going to soften up and disperse as it should. And then a little bit of cinnamon goes in there as well and smells great. So we're going to put it on the stove over a medium flame and get that softening up as I prepare the egg mixture for the pudding part of it. And the recipe calls for just egg yolks, so I need to separate out the whites, first using the shell method, but then that just got too laborious. So I went straight to my hands. It does get a little messy, but it's a little bit more effective. And I wanted to make sure I added this extra yolk that I'd saved from something I did the day before. Didn't want to waste it. To the egg yolks goes some regular granulated sugar, and even more liquid goes in. This is heavy cream. Again, I was doubting the amount of liquid the whole time, but I just followed the recipe because it's the first time I've done this. So give that a whisk, took a sip of tea, checking on the barley. There's what it looked like on the stove top. And the only way to know if it's softened up, obviously, is to give it the chew test. And it was softer, seemed good to me. In the end, I probably should have let it go a little bit more. That would have cooked off more liquid and softened up the barley before going in the oven, but it was what it was. So fishing out the cinnamon sticks first. We don't want a big bite of a cinnamon stick when you bite into the pudding. And I'm making sure that I'm doing the combination of the rice, or excuse me, the barley and the egg mixture slowly to temper the eggs and not start cooking the egg mixture straight away. That would not be pleasant to have chunks of dry or coagulated egg yolk in the pudding. So that's all together. And then it just goes into the pan. I chose to put it all into one as opposed to individual little dishes. You can do it either way. It doesn't make a difference. And it goes straight into the oven, bakes at 350. I think had I chosen to do it in individual cups or ramekins, it probably would have baked up a little bit firmer. This was still pretty liquidy when I pulled it out, but it was safe to eat, and I will get to that in a second because right now I want to show you what I did with the extra egg whites after a little bit of a dance and clean break. I put all of these seeds that I had mixed them together in a bowl. So I started with some flaxseed. There's some toasted sesame seeds. Always love toasted stuff. A little bit of chia, not as much because that'll soak up a lot of the liquid that's going to go in. Pumpkin seeds and the rest of the sunflower seeds that I have. Also added a little bit of Aleppo chili to give it this mixture a little bit of a kick. And then to the egg whites that I've saved, a little bit of olive oil and some honey to give it a little bit of sweetness that always brightens up the flavor, but not too much so that it's overly sweet. The liquid, which again is just the egg whites, the olive oil, and the honey, gets whisked together. You can add a little bit of salt and pepper if you'd like, black pepper that is. And then you just combine it with the mixture of seeds and you bake it. This is a recipe that my sister-in-law gave me. I think she found it on Epicurious. And it's called something like a seedy protein power mix, something along those lines. And it just gets spread over into this thin layer and baked. And I put that right in the oven, the same oven with the barley pudding, and it comes out this beautiful toasted, crunchy mix that you can put on yogurt or oatmeal or salads or anything really that you can think of. So that's in the oven, and I'm now just checking the pudding. It seems really liquidy after the amount of time it was supposed to bake, about 20, 25 minutes. So I'm taking a temperature on the eggs. because the most important thing with any type of custard or pudding is that the eggs come up to temperature to kill any bacteria that's in there, which in Fahrenheit is 150. So it's at that point now. It's still a little bit too jiggly and liquidy for my liking, but I know it's going to firm up a little bit more when it sets. So I decided to take it out of the oven. And in the end, I probably should have taken out some of the liquid, left it go a little longer, but it was still safe to eat, pretty tasty, and an interesting recipe to try here that I'd never done before. So there you have it, the saffron barley pudding. Thanks for stopping by. Hope to see you at the next